13%.
That's quite high. Very generous.
But then that 13% was just using these manual processing.
That's okay na to.
Right? Yes. And then if we're going to implement this project, we're going to use a 40 type of machine.
A type for the extraction machine, which shall be imported from the foreign country.
And using that, we could yield a even
No.
twice of that yield.
So
that we
we're
have.
looking at 26% extraction
No.
rate?
No.
Yes.
26% of 70 tons.
No, software
'Cause
dry.
earlier you were
Dry.
saying that
Dry.
for the first year you were just looking at 4 liters per year.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that your output? 4 liters per year?
No,
Per day.
4 liters per day.
Per day. Okay.
Yes.
Per day. So that's per month. Your capacity would be about 120 liters.
104.
Yeah. Okay. And what would be your price per liter?
700. Way back lower in the fair market value of 800 to 900 per liter.
800 to 900. Who is the biggest supplier of mango oil at the moment?
For now in the Philippines, actually this will be if given a chance to be implemented, this will be the first in the Philippines.
So where did you benchmark the 800 to 900?
The 800 to 900 is the fair market price, and our sales price will be 700 per liter.
Mas na
That was from India.
Yes.
Okay,
ma'am.
so it's from India.
Yes.
Okay. I think there's a big potential for it, especially I'm coming from the cosmetic industry and we're looking at things like this. But my main concern would be who are your technology partners and how are you going to ensure in terms of quality control and all of those
Actually,
things.
for now, we have been assisted by a chemical engineer, a faculty of our university. Hand by hand, we consult him to any process, from the peeling to the drying up to the extraction. He's the one who assisted us in the process, in the quality of the oil.
And then our team would not leave those primary stakeholders of us, of course.
And you said that income augmentation computation was about 168.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, that was an average for 3 years because the type of income augmentation we gave to our stakeholders is an allocation type, because the income in the business, it would be impracticable to give the income at the end of the year. So what we will do is that weekly we will give them a cash distribution. In the first year it will be 130, and in the third year it will be 175 per day. So it goes around 700 per week.
Sorry, what's a cash distribution?
Cash distribution, it's like it's in the form of income distribution, pre-income distribution, because what our project meant is that to augment their daily income, and it will be impracticable if we divide the income at the end of the year or at the end of the operations. So the way they do it every day, we allocate them a specific amount of money, and that we will distribute it weekly. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
So it's an allowance.
Yes,
Why is it not a wage?
Basically, in social enterprise, we only give them livelihood, and our purpose is not for commercial. So we just allocate it so that our livelihood project and the business would run parallel.
Okay. So beyond the additional income for your target community, are there any other social benefits that you're looking to provide?
Yes, sir. Definitely, it alleviates the waste, the problem in waste disposal of those companies where we get those mango waste.
And of course, sir, we don't just consider the income augmentation of these people, because what's one of our target is that we could improve the quality of their lives. For some of them don't really, not all of them really have that 83 pesos and 30 centavos a day. Some of them really don't have income and are just depending on their husbands, and they are just they're not using their idle time. So from this, their idle time would now be utilized in a more productive way, and that from this project, they could also discover or could enhance their skills that they could be applied in this project.
Any particular skills you think that are transferable to other forms of employment?
Yes, sir. Because in our plan, if given the chance, we would expand and embrace a bigger community, and up to the time that we're going to embrace hundreds of lives of people.
So we're just starting it a little by little.
Okay. You passed around the product you gave us was the massage oil.
Yes, sir.
That's very nice, not very nice.
Yes, sir.
Have you done research into other types of products, possibilities for this oil?
Yes, sir. Based on our research, it is widely used in the international arena in cosmetics, and even the Philippine cosmetic industry is using this percentage in their products because the mango kernel oil contains a higher value and of nutrients that can be getting into it.
But then some of our cosmetic companies here are using this mango oil that were imported. So if this project will be implemented, though it's just a small scale, it could be a good start that we Filipinos also can do it on our own. We can also have this oil, especially we have this potential because especially here in Cebu, we have the biggest mango processing company. That's it, sir.
Okay. Just on the production of it, it seemed to be from the presentation there, it was these idle women, you call them, sitting at home with a blender, and
That's prototype.
they blend the nuts down into this mulch.
No, sir. The one who blended it's us. That was our prototyping because we cannot do with the machine press because it would cost a lot, 100 to 150,000 pesos. That's why we did a prototyping by a manual. So with the manual compared to a machine, the manual instruction would be tripled if we did it in a machine because we are selling this idea to be the first in the Philippines. And we can't afford to buy that machine to give them livelihood.
Yes, and that's why we are here, sir. Because we need really funds for this to be implemented.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
How much is the machine and how many liters of oil do you need to sell to for it to pay for itself, and how long will that period be?
The machine we've estimated based on the fair market price, as we've researched, is 137,000, and the centrifuge would cost 20,100, and the payback period will be only 5 months. Since this is a low yield, the mango is a low yield but a high value, and the 4 units production per day is just a conservative amount. Since the machine is only one, we need to maintain it for the daily production. That's why we will just work for it up to 4 hours, and then after 4th hour, we will just have it maintained so that it can be used tomorrow.
Okay, just factor in that for the first couple of extractions, you might not get the best quality oil yet, and factor in also analysis costs because that's what you will need to be able to sell to the cosmetic companies. They won't buy your oil if it doesn't have the proper documentation attached.
Yes.
The project definitely is pioneering, as you mentioned. It's not yet done here, so to that I congratulate you. I just have to perhaps just double check on the cost that you presented and the price that you showed, and you're saying you benchmarked it versus the imported Indian processed mango oil, right?
Yes, sir.
And I just hope that in that computation, there's real enough margin that will allow the sustainability. That's my concern in your proposal.
Basically, sir, there is a proven sustainability for this project since our materials primarily we got this primarily at zero cost. What the cost that we are incurring are only for the utilities, for the marketing, and for the miscellaneous costs that may be attributable to the production.
Okay, and then the extraction rate you mentioned 13%.
Yes, sir.
Is that an actual?
Yes, sir.
Research.
That is
Research.
based on the release of the Board of Investments. Actually, we have a copy because it is a board of investments who have opened this to the public that who wants to invest for the mango kernel oil to be the first in the Philippines. And the board of investments cited many potential markets. And,
No, the 13% is that your actual
No.
yield?
yes, sir.
Okay. From the manual press. Now, after you extracted the oil, I was wondering if you're really solving the waste problem. Because after you extracted the oil, the waste material is still there, isn't it?
The waste material, which are those dried waste from the extraction, in our research for our expansion, we will first establish our business, this oil, and then probably it will be a new study for composting and primarily for those charcoal briquettes. So none will be wasted.
Follow-up question. So, what is the composition of your management team? Because from where I'm standing, I think it has high potential. But what I'd like to know is if you have the right people to actually make it fly.
Our management team is composed of our chairman and our faculty and economists. We believe that this project will be sustainable for years because for a fact we have implemented two successful implementations in Sogod and in Carmen, and until now the management team are still monitoring and managing those two implementations that was also granted by the provincial government, and still now for 2 years we are manning those projects.
And we hope that those facts would let you know that we are really serious with it come to these projects.
Sorry, so you have the support of the local government to just collect these seeds?
Basically, ma'am, yes, because before we start, generally with all those production, we will set first the structure with an agreement. The local government unit had already given us the seed land that they will help because it would be more mannered to do some agreements with those companies. And although at now we have a company that is giving their mango seeds.
Okay. My only concern now, because I mean the commercial potential of it, but the social relevance, that's what I'm and the social impact, that's what I'm trying to get a more understanding, because you're saying they're just going to get an allowance, but I really want to see what are your plans in terms of improving the quality of life for the community.
Once again, ma'am, from this, even though even this is just a small scale and we just cover those primary stakeholders, which is about 15 people. From that community in Barangay Umapad, their quality of life, some of them, as I've said, don't really have work and are just depending on their husbands. And through this, maybe some of them are just having their meals once a day. But through this, we hope that we could make it thrice a day already, and maybe some of their children will be sent to school. Because some of their children, there are also those children who are helping them in finding their livelihood. Through this, we hope we could help them.
So just to clarify, your single method for helping the community is to give them some additional income.
Yes.
Thank you.
No more questions from the judges?
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
thank you very much, Sheets of Hope, UP Banilad. And that wraps up our